Hi, good morning. It's Brian from Homeowner Repair. Tony has taken the day off today. What I'm going to show you how to do today is install a septic tank riser. Septic tank risers are a great product. The reason being, it makes it very easy and convenient to have your septic tank pumped on a regular schedule. Doing this will extend your septic tank and leach field lifespan, possibly forever. It is the single most important step in taking care of your septic system. So this is the unit that we're going to install today, and it's basically just a base plate that gets attached to the top of your tank. You actually stop using your concrete septic cover. So you take that out, you install this base plate, then you have your collar, and in this case I just needed one. If you have a deeper septic tank, you might need a few of these or two of these. And then this is the cover. This is the heavy duty cover, and it holds 1,000 pounds standing up to 3,500 pounds rolling over it. So you probably don't want to park your car on it, but it's definitely strong enough for your lawnmower. Also included in this kit were the fasteners to attach it directly to the concrete septic tank, the screws for the manhole cover, the screws that attach the collar to the base plate, the 1/4-inch concrete drill so that you can put those anchors into the concrete, some instructions, and some butyl tape. And essentially the tape goes between the collar and the concrete. It gets bolted with those concrete anchors, and then you add the collar to the base plate and the manhole to the collar, and you have a septic tank riser installed. So the first step is uncovering your septic access cover. That's usually in the center of the tank. In this case, I uncovered the whole tank because not only am I going to install the riser over that access cover, but there are two clean-out ports, one for where the pipe comes into the septic system and one for where it exits. And those are those small round holes. So to make it easy, these aren't necessarily needed all the time, but to make it easy, I'm going to actually install a bucket on top of it upside down, and that way I can keep the soil from getting around it. And if I did have a problem with buildup coming in, or in bad case buildup going out, I'd simply be able to remove a stone tile that would be on top of this bucket and access these so that I could clean them out. The kit that I bought included a masonry bit, and I happen to have a hammer drill, so it makes easy work of what I need to do next. But what I thought was important is just taping off the depth. I don't need to go any deeper than the mechanical expansion mechanism in this fastener. Basically, all I want to do is get this so it's all under the concrete. So if I go through, that's actually penetrating the tank, but if I just drill it that deep every time, I'll have enough thread there to tighten down the collar, but I won't go so deep that I'm going through the tank. So now we're going to drill each hole to the depth of and that will allow us to put the anchor in, and we have 8 of these to do. And we do all 8 all the way around. Then we take it off. It's easier to assemble this above ground than in the pit. Okay, so you can see that the studs are all in the concrete. And for those who are watching and say, hey, there's a crack over there, it's actually just a little root. I'll clean that up before the top goes on. And now it's time to add this collar onto the base plate. And it's as simple as lining it up with the holes, putting the fastener through, and tightening down just to get that started. But you tighten them down one at a time all the way around to the collar, and then the collar bolts on. So you can see that all the studs are installed on the tank. And you just tap them with a hammer and they expand and bite in. And then the final step is to line the collar up with the base plate and then install these screws. I already started with a couple, but now I'm just going to finish off screwing those in all the way around. And then the collar assembly will be installed. And then the next step will be to lay it on top of those studs. Before installing the final assembly on the tank, they give you a butyl seal that you can put on. And what I always suggest is test fit it first, because in this case, if you were to put it on this inside ridge on my tank, it would still allow air coming out. Not that it's a real big concern, but by going to this outer channel, it gave it a good seal. Okay, so it's all installed, and as you can see, the lid is a couple inches under grade. So all that has to happen now, if I need to have the septic system pumped, I need to remove literally a few inches of topsoil, sand, sod, grass, whatever you have on top of your lawn. And I always suggest taking a measurement from the center of your lid to each corner of the house. And by doing that, you'll be able to arc both sides, find the very center of this, uncover a very little bit of soil, and have your septic system uncovered in seconds. I'm going to teach you how to make a drywall joint compound bucket an access tube for your septic cleanouts. What I'm doing, and there's a few different types of buckets you can buy. Typically the ones that have chemicals or materials are stronger than the Homer buckets you get at Home Depot. But all I'm doing is taking the bucket upside down and then cutting the bottom out, cutting a hole in the bottom. And then the lid that was on this actually had a retaining ring. So what I did is I cut the retaining ring off of the lid, leaving it just to the cap. And if I put that upside down over the bucket, it gives you a really nice cap. So you could just put a little bit of foam around the edges here, maybe put a few screws in it, and then you can backfill all of this, and there you have your access. The height will depend on how big the bucket is. There seems to be a couple different sizes. The drywall ones are a little shorter than some of the chemical or food ones, but you can measure them out and find out whatever height works for you. You might even be able to stack these and get taller access heights. So that's it. So here it is, finally buried. That's the tank riser in the center. And those blue covers, those are just 5-gallon buckets upside down with a hole cut in the top. And I cut the edge off of the lids so that I have access to my cleanouts. So I'm just going to put a 12 by 12 paver over that one and that one, and it will hold it down just fine. And this will be screwed down, and this should allow us to have great service accessibility to our septic system for many years to come.